Drop a hot take and I will potentially use it for an upcoming video. Pre-Festival 2025 edition. You don't have to believe it. I'll go first. They can't afford to take risks this Festival 2025 like they did in the 7th anniversary. We're gonna be running through you guys' hot takes. As you guys saw, I put out a tweet on Twitter, so if you haven't already, go ahead and drop me a follow there, Zakashi with 3 eyes. I will be doing more videos like this in the future, so if you want to participate, follow me there and turn on the post notifications for my tweets. To address my hot take, the image might be a little misleading, and I'm not implying they have to drop a Vegito Blue or a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but they should drop something that we know brings good results. There are basic hype things that we know are hype things, and people try to act like it's slop or it's random or it's lame. It's just obviously not the case, because every time they drop those things, it does well. Things that come under that roof: Fusion Warriors, movie characters, so most likely another Beast Gohan, or something creative like a game originals. If it's any mix of those with custom animations on top or just a new mechanic, the player base will be satisfied. I personally feel that's a very agreeable take, but we'll see going forward with what you guys have to say. So we're gonna start here with Diamond Requiem. Stigma around the unit being bad causes people to not realize / revisit the unit when the meta environment is better for them. Prime example would be God Goku, who was, in my opinion, creeping up to the 7th best unit in the game during Festival 24 thanks to transforming Goku Black's mechanics. Would I say agreeable, disagreeable, or I'm gonna leave it in the middle? I'm gonna say this is agreeable. He just used an example, but I feel like that's not a great example. I feel like if the unit isn't a top 5 unit, in most cases, there's often no reason to go back to them except for fun. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter if their environment is good for them. You will still have fun with them. You know, in most cases, the meta is quite fixed. Not always, but more time than not, because the developers make the game the way they make the game. So even if a meta environment is better for them in the future, you don't need to use them unless something changes so drastically that everybody sees their value more than ever. For example, a good example would be Ultra Cell. Ultra Cell released and he's cooking, right? But then Diamond Forku comes out and he's out of the way. But then in the anniversary again in part 2, when they drop the green Vegeta, you know, green and red pair very well because green protects red from blues. The Blast team was very powerful. So in that case, he's already popular enough to just be used, but his value is actually super high to the point where everybody's looking to use him. And then there's also other factors like things that return, like ultra return banners, legend limited return banners, etc. So I think this is obviously agreeable. I just don't feel like your example is the best one to use, but I get what you're trying to say. I think most people would agree with this. We got one from Abid Q. Ultra Vegito Blue is the most aesthetically pleasing character in the entire game. Now, this is obviously opinionated, but I'm gonna say it's agreeable. But my basis for it being agreeable is not my own opinion. I think we can all agree as a Dragon Ball Legends player base community that Ultra Vegito Blue is the most glazed unit in Dragon Ball Legends history. And to achieve that title, you also have to be one of the most liked units. Being glazed has brought him a lot of haters, but if he's the most glazed, there's a reason why people like him. You apply that to anything that's super popular. Would we say Goku's the most glazed anime character ever? He's also the most popular though. Do you get what I'm saying? It ties in together. So my opinion aside, I think this is agreeable. But do you have to agree? No, you know. But I think a lot of people would agree with this take. Got one from Morgoth. The most balanced unit this year was Ultra Cell. Does hell ton of damage, but is literally a fish. I'm gonna say this is it's disagreeable in my opinion. I think when he released, he was devastatingly good because he got rid of Ultra Margin Vegeta and Beast Gohan almost simultaneously. Do you know how good you have to be to get rid of both of those? Calling him balanced when he ignores gauges on the cover change because of the way his ultimate works, you know, on release, not balanced. I'd only say that he appears balanced because post-release they dropped Forku, which blew him away. Like, he was completely irrelevant, and he managed to make a comeback in the part 2 with Vegeta. Then on top of that, powerful opponents going up, so people use him. You know, it's really, he has a decent amount of longevity where he doesn't feel overwhelming, but in his prime on release, that guy was a threat, bro. So you know, I don't agree. So I'm gonna put disagreeable. I feel like there's other picks you could have went. I would say half corrupted Zamasu is more balanced. I'd say Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is more balanced. I'd say even, you know, a unit that people didn't really care for at the time, Super Saiyan Goku Instant Transmission 1, is more balanced. Maybe I'm missing with those takes. Let me know you guys' opinion. I'm gonna put this one as disagreeable, but it could be agreeable to you. We got one here from Moyes DBL. The same repeated stuff is not exciting at all. We need to give Gogeta and Vegito a rest for this year and let new things try and be implemented for this celebration. Maybe fusing Super Gogeta can be a good idea, but aside from that, I don't think we need another fusion character since there is also almost nothing else is left to do with them. Also, I wanted to add that the 7th anniversary wasn't bad at all. In fact, it was really good aside every unit being unbalanced and stuff. Oh wait, I forgot the only fusion character I actually think should be coming is Synchro Gotenks. Okay, I'm gonna say this is, generally speaking, disagreeable. And a fact that you cannot dispute, right? When was the last time we got a new Dragon Ball Super episode? We haven't. We just haven't. What does that mean? Us as Dragon Ball fans, we've been eating up the same stuff year in, year out with no new episodes. We got Daima and people gave it a weird reception. You saw the reception on the internet. Daima did extremely well, don't get it twisted. We Dragon Ball fans love Dragon Ball, we're gonna support it. But there's still people that were shying away from it because it's quote unquote new. People feel comfort in the same things that they get. And also the argument that there's almost nothing else left to do with them. Was you not there during the 6th anniversary where there was custom animations? Did you not see the Festival 2024 when Vegito Blue's doing a heat dome? There is infinite things to do with them because they are the highest selling point in Dragon Ball. They're promotional material. They bring together the most two hyped characters, and that's only talking about the fusions. That's not even regarding repetitive things like Beast Gohan and MUI Goku. The idea that, you know, it's not exciting at all is opinionated, so like fine, you can feel that way, but don't act like Dragon Ball fans don't eat up the same thing year in, year out and are happy with that. Aren't happy with that. They are happy with that. We're all happy with that for the most part, with a few outliers. Clearly you're one of them, but at the end of the day, you know, I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna say it's disagreeable because us Dragon Ball fans, we barely get content and we still eat it up. So I don't feel like this is something that you can look a Dragon Ball fan dead in the eye and be serious about. You just think about it for 1 second and you realize very quickly, yeah, we do like the same stuff all the time. We got one here from Nux. Broly is a very underutilized moneymaker. He is one of the most popular, if not the most popular movie villain, and DBS Broly has so much more they can do with him. I think this is disagreeable and I might get flack for this, but come on bro, how many Brolys have we got in Dragon Ball Legends and they're all buns? All of them. And the only reason some of them get like push is because they drop Gogeta. I always say this, I've said this numerous times in stream, but you know the Broly movie isn't even about Broly. They just called it the Broly movie because they couldn't call it the Gogeta movie, bro. They're promoting the Broly movie, not with Broly, but with Gogeta. You know why? Because Gogeta is the selling point. Underutilized moneymaker? I don't believe that's the case. And how, like, you're placing him as popular. Yes, he's probably the most popular, you know, movie villain. That's because he's also joining the main cast. He's a Saiyan 2 that's canon now, you know? There's reasons for that. But are we really gonna take it that far to say he's underutilized? I can't agree with that. They dropped a lot. You know, we might need another Legends Limited Broly and Ultra variant, sure. Underutilized? Bro, they be dropping Brolys more than anything else in this game. Every celebration, just throw out Broly, just because. And I'm tired of it. Me personally, I'm tired of it. Because he doesn't do anything. It's just a waste of space sparking that's not going to get used for more than 3 days. Every single time. Shout out the OG Brolys though. Back in the day, like the Legends Limited Broly, in his prime, he was that, bruh. And the Z Broly's early doors, they were that, bruh. But DBS, bruh, I'm not really falling for that propaganda. We've had too many and just sparkings and just placements all over the place taking up space. I can't say it's agreeable. Underutilized is not the word I would use. They could spice him up and make him look good, but you know, I'm not falling for this Broly propaganda as if it's not because of Gogeta, you know. It just is because of Gogeta. Got one here from Soul Vegeta Guy. I'm gonna get flamed for this, IT Goku should get the Fusion Zamasu treatment for when he gets a plat. Ultra Zamasu is really good on powerful opponents slash future, but we don't have a strong purple with Saiyans, so I think we could see him get a resurgence with a good enough plat. I think this is agreeable. I don't think people think IT Goku is good enough. He sure is good if you have him high stars, but when you have to invest in people, it puts a downer on their actual value. Because if you don't have them high stars, or you like the units and you summon it and you get shafted, you know they're going to suck. Some units require investment, so I'd say this is agreeable without a doubt. There's not much more to say. It's just a unit that isn't the best, isn't as good as they could be, and would actually benefit from getting a platinum equipment. It would make a huge difference for him and the overall game, the meta as well. Things will shift a lot because of that. We got a take here from Gabbleman 007. They have to make the units to work well alone when they release at the same part in a big celebration. That way you can be happy only getting one of the units, since it will work well even without the other one. I disagree. I think this is disagreeable. No, it's agreeable. It's agreeable. I switched up. It's agreeable, but it's not gonna happen. They should make units individually good, but then if you think about it, the reason why it shouldn't happen, imagine every unit in the celebration, right, is top tier, right? The meta just shifts upwards. So much so that the game starts moving too fast. Units need to have benefits only when paired with other people, so that the 3v3 composition of the game can actually work. It would erase the idea of support unit, defense units, etc. if every unit is just solid on their own, because teams are meant to work as a team. It's not meant to be this unit and support characters, you know, background characters that are barely used. Teams like 5 times Zenkai buff teams have phased out because of this. You know, you're meant to build a competent team, not just have the Zenkai buffs flooding one way for one unit to destroy the whole game. And obviously I can see why you would want this to happen. I just don't think it will happen. So like I said, it's agreeable, but it's not gonna happen, you know. They're not gonna make every unit individually just work well. Got one here from Mouse. Fusion units always get away from being criticized as unhealthy for the game. Ultra Gogeta Blue is a massive example, as he literally was the OG UMV, but nobody wanted to remember he killed ranged units for months because he's a fusion. Agreeable. Not completely, but what you're saying, generally speaking, is correct. Fusion warriors, because they are the ceiling of hype for Dragon Ball, people will turn off their brains and just enjoy. No matter how toxic it is, people are just going to let it fly. Another example I'll bring up is Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. This is the one-shot meta of doom, right? And nobody cares. You know why? Because G4's doing backflips. That's ultimately what it is. It just is what it is. This is so facts, I'm not gonna lie. Not completely. I'd say more as Dragon Ball Legends progresses, people are like shifting their opinions and pushing back the fusion narrative, but ultimately the large majority of the player base will just tune out from the criticism because it's peak. Just is what it is. This is agreeable as hell. I'm not even gonna cap. That's facts, that's facts. Range type got cooked when UGB was in the game. Awful, absolutely awful. But hey, sometimes it's done over the top. For example, I think Prime UVB is overhated. Bro, like nobody was hating on Universe Rep as much as they should, in my opinion. But hey, it just depends on what side you're on. But overall, this is agreeable. Got one here from Nate Bit. This Legends Fest will monumentally disappoint, and I'm not saying it to just be negative. I can't see a synchro gauge unit at all. I can't see any actual new mechanics being made, or old ones like preparation mode being revisited, action gauge, and maybe a special clash. I'm gonna stay neutral on this one. I don't personally agree, but I think most people are, you know, in the middle. They have an idea in their head where it's not gonna really be a banging festival, but there is some degree of hope, you know. I actually can't say. Maybe monumentally disappointing is a very large exaggeration, but the fact that I don't feel it's impossible makes me neutral. I can only sit on the fence with this one. I don't want to sit on the fence, but I think this is one that I think it's fair to sit on the fence. If the festival is buns, it'll be like, you know, it was the Super 7th year. it was cap, you know? But if it's banging, we will know why. We will know why. We don't know what's gonna release, but we will know why. We will know why. You know, I'll just say neutral. I'm gonna leave it like that. We've got one from Sayajin here. Transforming UI is the best aging anniversary unit and is also one of the best anti-meta unit as of right now, having the potential to nuke red MZ and purple CMZ. Agreeable. Let's just say it's agreeable, first of all. Moving on from that, we can't say completely because Frieza is still lingering. Super Saiyan Goku, not as much, so that Ultra is wiped out. Part 2 units, they've basically phased out, but Kaioken Goku, you might see him here and there, but Merge Zamasu is just a better version of him now because of the Platinum equipment. Prior to the Platinum equipment, Kaioken was basically just the better version. The Part 1 unit, Vegeta is dead, so yeah. I agree. I think it's agreeable. I think Ultra Instinct is the craziest mechanic in Dragon Ball Legends, and if you are a good player, you will always thrive using any Ultra Instinct unit. So when they drop one, the aging on that unit is always going to be phenomenal. Defensively, usually Ultra Instinct units aren't good, but this one has actually good defenses, which is why he stands out a lot more and he's aging very well. If we look at all the other Ultra Instinct units, Yellow UI, very bad defenses. Purple UI was getting one shot by Champa. Red MUI getting melted by USV coming out of, well, in the anniversary. Like, it's crazy that Ultra Instinct units have very bad defenses, but that's because their dodge mechanic allows them to not get hit. You know, you don't need defenses if you're not going to get hit. But this UI having endurance and decent defenses, not saying they're the best, especially post anniversary, but they're better than they should be, helps him out a lot. So I think this is a very agreeable take. Got one here from White CQMMP. The meta right now is the best it's ever been this year, November 24 to November 25. Let me think about this. Hold on. This is not something I can give an instantaneous answer for. I disagree. I think this is disagreeable. If I had to pick up some metas that I think are better than this within the last year, from November 24 to November 25, like 2024, 2025, I would take the finale of the 2024 festival over what we have right now, choosing the side of Beast Gohan or choosing the side of Ultra Margin Vegeta, versus right now every single game you're gonna see 13 Ultra CMZ and Red Merge Zamasu. That one team dominates the game, washes the game. If you're trying to use something else, you're actually at a disadvantage. But then you could run a movies team, you could run a hybrid team, but you could also run the Buu Saga team, you could run a Saiyan team. You had a lot more options, which is why I disagree straight away. Choosing a side between two Ultras makes the game so much better. You don't understand. If you have two top dog Ultras, people choose the one they like more because they're both that good. In any meta where there's two units that don't exactly fit on the same team but are as valuable as each other, it creates a large divide, and I think the meta is a lot more healthier than that. And if I compare that meta to other examples that we've had, for example, the 2023 festival, the part 1 with Beast Gohan and Evil Ken. We also take the 6th anniversary part 1 with Fusing GB and Fusing Super Vegeta. Even though they're on the same team, people would more time avoid that because there was also the Buu Saga team with Shin. Metas like that are just better, but this one here I think is way too strict. There are some outliers here and there, but there is one clear dominant team that gaps the game, and that's the Fusion 13 Zamasu team. Got one from Ryudo. Maintaining a healthy meta in PvP wouldn't keep the game alive alone. The devs need to maintain a consistent process of releasing out new events that can keep the players glued to their phones. These events don't have to be brand new, just rework the game original events for exam. I think this is agreeable. I think what they've done with the 40th Dragon Ball anniversary events is actually very healthy for the game, and it's actually made people want to play and collect these manga volumes just for the event purposes. This isn't nothing to do with PvP. The meta being healthy is a very big factor, don't get it twisted. The selling point of Dragon Ball Legends is the fact that you can play PvP, but the mechanics itself doesn't have everything to do with PvP. There is the PvE aspect, and I think as we've seen in this 40th Dragon Ball manga stuff that they're doing, it's made a very big difference on how people want to play the game. People have enjoyed the collector's aspect and the feel for it being Dragon Ball in its purest form. And I think if we had more of that, obviously we won't get more like long-term manga stuff like they did right now. But if we get more progression in the events that they put out, the game will do a lot better. So overall, This is a very, very agreeable take. Got a take here from Brew. Game originals characters would make the game hit top grossing. Disagreeable. And that's because it depends. It's not just they drop a game originals and then it hits top grossing. No, there's a lot of factors that go into getting top grossing. And just the fact that we didn't hit top grossing in the 7th anniversary tells me that we really have to consider what character we're going to be getting and what they even do, what they look like for us to hit top grossing. Now, let me just put out there some characters that I've got top grossing. Ultra UI, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Legends Limited Super Vegito 1st anniversary, I'm pretty sure, Ultra Vegito Blue, Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist Goku. There is a very, very shortlist selection of top grossing units for Dragon Ball Legends. Bardock and Goku ain't hit that for perspective. So it has to be a certain something. It can't just be anything, which is why I think this is disagreeable. We have a track record to prove it. So yeah, it's not really an opinionated thing, this one, unfortunately. Got a hot take here from TK. The fusion dropped during 6th Annie actively killed momentum for Legends in the long run. It was overkill because now everything they release is seen as less. When I said this, people said I was waffling. There was literally no reason for Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, as well it should have been Goku. I think this is agreeable. Momentum was definitely bodied after the 6th anniversary. To this day, every celebration, every opportunity, if it's a fusion warrior, it must be synchro. Synchro, 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 synchro. And that alone is proof in itself. But they didn't stop there. They also dropped Mr. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta to finish off the celebration. 3 fusion warriors in one celebration, 2 Gogetas. That's outrageous. Nobody can say that isn't outrageous. That is very, very outrageous. To do that, you're pulling out all the stops. They felt that the 6th anniversary had to be #1. I don't think they understood what they were creating when they decided to drop 3 fusion warriors in one celebration. I really don't think they do, because for the overall player base, the expectation only has to be more than what they've produced. So the fact that they did something like that, knowing that fusion warriors are the peak of the franchise, no matter how much people try to disagree and say otherwise, it is the peak of the franchise. That's tough. That's tough, bro. That's tough, bro. If G4 wasn't involved, I think the perspective on the 6th anniversary would be the exact same, but it would be easier to surpass it. So this part where you say it should have been Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I'm not saying it should have been Super Saiyan 4 Goku instead of G4, because G4 was actually amazing when they were playing Dan Dan, I'm not gonna lie. But what else could it have been? I don't know. Maybe they just shouldn't have dropped GB. Maybe they shouldn't have dropped SV. Maybe they should have just dropped one synchro. But they went all the way, bro. Ah, man. The 6th anniversary was OD, man. It's crazy. Crazy, but agreeable, bro. Agreeable. We've got the final hot take from Low It So. Legends Fest 2024 character choices were better than part 1 and part 2 of the 7th anniversary. Disagreeable, disagreeable. I'm going to count up what makes what better. It's opinionated generally speaking, but I'm going to say it's disagreeable. So in the 2024 festival, we got part 1, Vegito and Rose, and part 2, right, was Goku Mini and Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right, from the Buu Saga. In that period of time, we didn't need another fusion warrior. We didn't. We already got 3 in the anniversary. It was the most, wow, another one, because it was too short of a time span. So Vegito Blue throws out a lot, making the festival feel bad. But then the Buu Saga unit, one that infinitely combos as well, and he didn't even look that good, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, that threw off a lot when Ultra Margin Vegito is already going crazy. So those 2 choices are horrendous. They are bad. Like, they're at the bottom of the barrel. Goku Mini, shout out to him. Rose, not the greatest fan, to be honest, but it's not a bad pick. It's just that Vegito Blue, they have to pair, you know. So yeah, let's go to the 7th anniversary. Part 1, you can't go wrong with MUI Goku. We haven't got one in a long time, but we did want the Ultra, so I'm going to deduct a few points. SSBE Vegeta, we haven't got one in a long time, so shout out to him. He's a good pick. MUI Goku, you just can't go wrong, like I said, but it should have been Ultra. Anyways, part 2, clean. As much as people aren't the biggest fans of Saiyan Saga because everyone's new gen nowadays, not everyone, but a lot of people are new gen, it's clean. It's clean, man. It's better. It's better than the festival, you know, because of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Mini Goku clears, in my opinion, the whole part 2 of the 7th anniversary. But if you had to average it out, Mini Goku's at the top, then it's the part 2 units of the 7th, and then it's Super Saiyan 3 Goku at the bottom. So overall, the 7th anniversary, in my opinion, is better. So I'm gonna say this is disagreeable. I think also people would think that, plus the synchro aspect. Synchro. No Vegito, no. We should have got a Fusions of Master Synchro. People were saying that as well at the time. I think that's, you know, pretty easy to see. But maybe people disagree, I don't know, with what I'm saying. But I think this is a disagreeable take. That's going to be the end of the video. Let me know in the comment section which hot take was your favorite. If I had to give my favorite hot take out of all of these, I might go with the UI aging the best. I love Ultra Instinct units. Skill will always prevail. But like I said at the start of the video, drop me a follow on Twitter and turn on the post notifications so you can be involved the next time I do one of these, if you want to. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.